Hello, my name is Wokang. This is my lovely wife. My name is Tato. And we are here today to tell you a story, or a testimony rather, of what happened with our daughter. So a couple of months ago, our daughter fell ill. She started off with fever and diarrhea. So we just took it like it's fever and diarrhea. So she'd get hot in the evening, have hot flashes. So that lasted for maybe about 4 or 5 days. And then on the last day, she was in the room with her mom, and I just heard a scream from her mother. So I rushed into the bedroom. So I get there and I find her mom holding her, and she's having seizures. So I'm like, what happened? She's like, okay, she fell. So we rush her into the dining room just to see if we can maybe resuscitate her, or make her well. And I guess we were oblivious maybe to how exactly to deal with a situation like that. So we put her on the floor, and she was lying prostrate on the floor, and she was having seizures, like I said. And then I think what got to us is she then started becoming weak. So she started turning blue, and that's what scared me, because that's not consistent with seizures. So she starts turning blue, and at this time I'm like, okay, maybe I must do CPR on her. I do CPR, but as I'm breathing into her lungs, the air keeps being pushed back, as though there's a force that's pushing out the air. So we are scared. I don't think there's a day where I've prayed like that day. My grandmother also is going crazy. She's praying, and I remember her specific words were, "Lord, you've kept me for this long. You're not about to fail me now with this child." Because I too was a sickly child when I was young, but I've never had an experience like that. So she kept on praying. At some point, my mom was saying, no, this can't be happening. This can't be happening again. And my grandmother is trying to keep her calm and trying to keep me calm as well. So the emotions were high, and so I pick her up. She runs outside to get a car to rush her to the hospital. So she comes back and she says, okay, there's a car waiting outside. So I pick her up, we rush into the car. So we get into the car, and the person driving obviously is not really understanding what's happening. Here is this child who appears to be lifeless, and at the time it looked like she was sleeping. So maybe he thought, it's normal sickness. So to be quite frank, I got angry when he took the long route to the hospital, and he's driving and trying to observe the rules of the road, and he's trying to stop at stop signs. And when you have an emergency like that happening, that's the last thing you want. And so he keeps on driving, and I remember just saying, "Pass, bruh, pass, pass," because I'm thinking that even if we get stopped, it's a matter of life and death, and they'll understand. So we are approaching the hospital, and I just felt like, can't I make this car go any faster? At some point, I felt like telling him, "Hey, bro, come this side, let me drive." And what got to me was when my daughter then started becoming blue and becoming cold again. So now I checked for her pulse, and there's no pulse. I checked everywhere to find a pulse, and I can't find a pulse. And I think we're about 500 meters away. And as you approach the hospital, it's a bit of an incline, so there's traffic backed up on the road, and I could just feel in my spirit that I'm losing her. So her mom is sitting at the back, and she kept on saying, "Is she okay? Is she okay? Is she okay?" And I think the reality of this is there comes a time where your relationship with God gets tested. And for me, that was a huge test of my relationship with God, because my faith became challenged. I remember saying, "Lord, if you can't bring her back, then it means that everything that I've read in the Bible is a lie." And I was ready to espouse my relationship with God, because I didn't see the point of serving a God who can't answer me when I call. So we finally get to the emergency room. When we're driving in, we get to the gate, and then he hooters to the security guys there. So they open the gate, drive in, the guy stops, I pick her up, get out of the car, and I'm running. And this is like a foreign environment to me, because I don't even know where to run to. I just went in there, and it's a tertiary hospital, so it's big. I'm just running in there, screaming, "Can somebody help me? Can somebody help me?" So we finally get directed to a ward. There was a doctor who was stationary there, and I say to her, "Okay, my daughter is gone. Can you do something? Can you help?" So she says, she looks at me and she says, "What do you mean? Because your daughter is looking at me." It came across to me like an insult. I felt like she was insensitive to what I was saying. But she says, "Okay, look at your child." So I look at her, and here's Kia, she's looking at me. And I literally fell on my knees holding her, because I did not understand what is happening. I was shaking, there was a time where I couldn't even hold her. So I gave her to her mom. And at this time, I think my relationship with God became real, because I think we get so caught up in all this sanctimonious way of doing things, a structured way of doing things. On that day, I knew that He loves me. I knew that He cares for me, and that there is nothing that can possibly happen to me that He cannot help me out of. Verses like "there's no weapon formed against you that shall prosper" started making sense, because you say them, but until there is a weapon formed against you, it does not really register. So at some point between the scene at home and the journey to the hospital, I stopped praying. I stopped praying, and I was just like, if God is gonna do it, He's gonna do it. You know, if He's not, He's not. But luckily, I had, been in contact with my pastor, and the whole church was behind us in prayer, just to help us, because you need somebody standing with you and lifting you up when you're weak, because it's during times like that where your prayer is no longer structured. It's real. It's a conversation to say, Lord, I need you, and I need you now. I can't have you answering tomorrow or the next week or whatever. I need you now. And I saw God with my daughter. She's well now, and we've not had a case like that since. But this for me is just one of those testimonies where you can always go back to God no matter what happens, to say, Lord, I need an encore of what happened. Repeat what happened. Because I think we all need something like that, to say, Lord, I know you are capable because I've seen you do it before. I know you're a healer because I've seen you healing before. So the Bible for me now is practical. It's practical in the sense that when He says that He's a God that heals, I've seen Him. When He says He's a God that provides, I've seen Him providing healing and help. And I know that He doesn't just listen to certain people when they pray about help. He listens to even me, a normal person. I can literally lift my hand and just pray. So yeah, thank you. Yeah.